Good day. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to best sell yourself in a job interview on the topic of using AI in your work. Okay, tell me about the time when you used AI at work, right? So how do you answer this interview question? Well, at first, this is a behavioral question, right? They're asking you about your past experiences because that's supposed to be a predictor of success in your future role, right? And one of the most common ways and efficient ways to answer behavioral interview questions would be with the STAR framework, right? Situation and task. You can combine those if you want. Then you would talk about the action, and then you would focus on some interesting results, usually with some metrics, right? Now, what would be some examples of using AI in your work? And what you should keep in mind whenever you're brainstorming for these types of interview questions is that the main use case for using AI today is productivity, right? So most of the time you would want to use to exhibit your AI friendliness through a productivity enhancement scenario, right? For example, I use AI to summarize some of my older videos because it's quicker, to summarize it with AI within 30 seconds rather to watch a 10 or 15-minute video, right? But the benefits might look unobvious if I do this for one video, but whenever I do some research, I take like 20 videos, which I summarize using AI, and then the benefits would be, 3 hours saved for this purpose. So AI helps me to stay more productive and therefore more efficient in the type of work that I do. And some quantifiable results, if you remember the STAR formatting results, would be those 3 hours saved, right? Specific examples to the point, right? Or another example, second example, as a PM, I use AI features in my training programs as a way to keep my customers, candidates, engaged into the training program, because AI is what I call pleasure features. They provide you feedback on your answers, which most people find as useful, at least people using in this scenario, right? So by keeping user engaged in my training programs, this also benefits in increasing the view time and the overall usage, the overall interview prep for their job interviews, right? And maybe a third example for more technical roles, such as software engineers, you maybe coded some chatbot to improve customer service. It's also a very common scenario, but again, this would be your subject matter expertise, right? Now, more interestingly, maybe what would be some mistakes to avoid when answering questions around how do you use AI in your work? I believe the number one thing you should avoid here would be to say something on the lines of, I prepared my whole interview using AI, and I believe the AI rewarded answers sound better than myself and make myself a more intelligible candidate, right? This is outright dumb. It's on the same lines on getting out the interview question of what's your weakness. I don't believe I'm good at job interviews. Right? So it's the same thing. Now, another type of answer you'd want to avoid here when asked, tell me about the time when you used AI at work, would be, oh, I use AI every day. I pay ChatGPT a subscription AI, and I use Google Search. I believe AI summaries are of great help. Right? Why would this be a bad answer? Well, it's not a bad answer necessarily because it's a dumb thing to use Google Search and AI summaries. Everyone does it. It's a proven way that's helpful. The primary reason why it's not a good idea is because you don't sell yourself as a better candidate, because everyone does this. And if you think about what I said in the beginning of this video, this is a behavioral interview question. They look at your past experiences as a predictor of success in your future job. Okay, and I've also talked about the STAR framework. When presenting your usage of AI summaries, you're not talking about a specific experience, but rather a generic one, and it will be very challenging for you to quantify this in a matter of results. You could try eventually saying something online. So, well, yeah, I use AI Google search summaries every day, and I think I save 1 hour per day because of this. But you will never able to prove that metric will never fly with someone who's good at critical thinking and who's going to challenge you in job interviews. So the answer is not a specific one, right? And the third scenario, third mistake you'd want to avoid talking about AI in job interviews would be that something online, I don't like AI, okay? Or you're super skeptical about AI. Now, why would this be a bad idea to say in a job interview? Because you could genuinely be skeptical about AI. I myself, I'm very skeptical about AI in interview prep, and I see this on thousands of candidates. But in a job interview, it's not good because you're scored poorly on things such as your capability to learn and to stay curious about new trends, right? So you should avoid this, but rather, go on the tried and tested methods to pass these interviews and to perform well. That is your specific star answers of when you used AI to improve your productivity, if you remember the keyword I advise you to use, right? And last but not least, in job interviews, you'll rarely gonna get asked questions framed the same way you prepared them. For example, you're never going to get asked, tell me about time when you used AI at work, but rather, how do you use AI in your role? Or how would you use AI if you get the job? Or have you ever used AI at work? Or what do you think about AI? Okay. Now, in my experience, in 95% of cases, what do you think about AI will be answered differently rather than tell me about the time when you used AI at work. Still, if you remember, I said in the beginning of this video, my goal is to help you sell yourself in these job interviews, and this is why I would encourage you to read a little bit between the lines of these things and give them specific examples, even with STAR framework, that will showcase your ability to build value using AI in your work. So I hope you found this useful, and thank you very much for watching.